Pass now on the outside by Mischievous Alex. There in the stretch. It is Chateau with the lead. Mischievous Alex now bearing down on the outside. Mind Control moves into third. It is Chateau. Here's Mischievous Alex. Now to take over the lead, it is Mischievous Alex, and he is drawing away. Mischievous Alex to win the Grade 1 quarter impressively.
Welcome back to Racing Rundown. Today we have a preview of the Grade 1 Met Mile, one of 5 previews that we have for Grade 1s, or I should say graded stakes on Belmont Saturday. We do have one for the New York Stakes on Friday that is already up on YouTube, as well as our big Racing Rundown episode over on our podcast platforms where you can get our opinions on all the races. But as I said in the beginning of the video, this is a preview of the Grade 1 Met Mile. We got 6 horses in this race, and we're going to do the usual drill that we do on Racing Rundown. And we're going to start off with the number 1 horse in this race, Mischievous Alex, who's coming out of a breakthrough win in the Grade 1 Carter. 3 for 3 in 3 starts this year, and for new trainer Sappy Joseph, he has looked like a different horse. He wasn't a bad horse with trainer John Service. The Woody Stevens last year at Belmont was a very weird race. It ended up being a race where no parole walked on the front end. The Alan Jerkins was not a friendly race for any horse that was relatively close to the pace. And, I think definitely the new trainer did help him, but I think also he was really close to a pace that was really hot that day. So you can draw off, you can draw a line through the Alan Jerkins from last year. And even so, running 6th against that group was not terrible. And like I mentioned, since he got to the barn of Sappy Joseph, he has turned into another really, really strong sprinter. And you look at his races at one turn prior to the Woody Stevens and the Alan Jerkins. Swale Stakes, a winner. Gotham Stakes, a winner. And that's the really important thing for me, is that he won the Gotham as a 3-year-old, and that was a one-turn mile. This race is a one-turn mile. I really like Mischievous Alex's progression from 3 to 4, and I think he's really dangerous in this race. The number 2 horse in here is Dr. Post for trainer Todd Pletcher. Dr. Post is a very solid horse. He's coming out of a win in the Grade 3 Westchester. And I think a lot of people are going to jump on him out of that Westchester. But the issue that I have with Dr. Post in this race is he is going to be rather pace dependent in some of his races. Now, that is going to sound really strange that I'm going to say I don't like him at a one-turn mile because he wants more. He does want more, even though he did win last out at a one-turn mile. That's what I mean when I say it is strange for me to say that. But I like horses in this race more so than Dr. Post because of the trip. I think that he could be a horse that could be a graded stakes winner when they get out to 2 turns in races up at Saratoga. I don't think he's a bad horse, but I think he wants longer than a one-turn mile, and I think that there are horses that are better than him at a one-turn mile in this race, so I'm going to pass on him in here. The number 3 horse is Silver State for Steve Asmussen, a horse who's rattled off 5 straight victories since a disappointing 7th in the Louisiana Derby, which really did not go well for any horse that was not near the lead, because the 1-2 horses walked in the front end, and you had the 3rd place horse in the race, Modernist. He was sitting 4th throughout the majority of that race. So any horse that was coming from far back really did not have much of a chance, and he was one of those horses. He still wound up finishing 7th, which was pretty good in a 14-horse field, and he got time off from that Louisiana Derby and has broken through and really exceeded in the transformation from 3 to 4. He is a very dangerous horse. Steve Asmussen sends his best horses to the Met Mile. He sent Matoli here a couple years ago, got the job done there. Silver State's cutting back, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem for him. He can do anything from a mile, obviously, up to a mile and an eighth that he won at. He won at a mile and a 16th in the Essex Stakes, also winner of the 5th season, so 3 stakes wins for him, including the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. And the 5th seasons was a mile, although that was a 2-turn mile at Oaklawn, not a 1-turn mile that this race is going to be run at Belmont. I really don't find too much of a problem with that, and I think that if you really like the 5-race win streak, and I like it, but I don't like it as much as I like the Mischievous Alex win streak, and if you really like the fact that with history shows us Steve Asmussen sends his good horses to the Met Mile. Silver State is definitely one of those horses. You can definitely make a strong case for him in the Met Mile this year. Number 4 is Lexitonian, a horse who is the longest price on the board, or at least on the morning line, and probably will be the longest price on the board. This horse is very, very inconsistent, but he is coming out of a very, very good second place finish in the Churchill Downs Stakes. I'm surprised he's not shorter than 20-1 on the board. He may drop down a little bit because I think some people are going to try to use him as a value horse in this race. I would if there was more speed in here, but I don't know that there's going to be a ton of speed in here, and he is pace dependent. That's one thing. He also hasn't won in 2 tries at a mile, and one of those was a 1-turn mile on the all-weather at Arlington. Now, you could say he's a dirt horse. The all-weather probably wasn't to his liking, and I think that that's fair, but I tend to think that Lexitonian does his best running at 6 to 7 furlongs. So I'm going to take a pass on Lexitonian here just because I can't depend on him. The Churchill Downs Stakes fell apart, and Flagstaff just was able to dig in and hold on there. I don't think this race is going to fall apart, and so for that reason, I'm going to pass on Lexitonian in here. The number 5 horse is, by my standards, a horse who scratched out of the Steve Sexton Mile that was run on Memorial Day in order to run in this race. He was the winner of the Oaklawn Mile in his last start over Rushy, a pretty good horse who didn't run great in the in the Hollywood Gold Cup last weekend on Memorial Day, but Rushy's a horse that's probably does his best running at a mile to a mile and an eighth, so Rushy's still a solid horse, and by my standards is a horse that does his best running at races at that level, and to beat Rushy is not something to toss him out over. By my standards is a horse, though, that it is a little bit overmatched in Grade 1 races, but this is an opportunity that he has where I would not say that it's a weak Grade 1 field, but there's horses in here that I think he could beat. If he is really good at this 1-turn mile distance. He's by Golden Sense. Golden Sense, a 2-time Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner, so it's certainly possible. Golden Sense did some good running at races 7 furlongs, and I think he, if memory serves me, he did have some good efforts in Met Miles in past years. I know he did not win a Met Mile, but he did have some good efforts in there. He was second in 2014 behind Palace Malice, so there's some success there's some success in the pedigree for him, so I don't think it's out of the question or out of the realm of possibility, and I don't think that it's a bad shot to take by my standards. He's 10-1 right now on the morning line. If you get anywhere near close to that price, you might just want to throw a show wager on him because he could certainly run a strong race in here or place or show wager. I'm not sure whether or not Naira's going to have show wagering in this race, but if you like by my standards is success in races that he has a fair shot in, and I'm talking about races that are not like Breeders' Cup Classic, Kentucky Derby races, then you can certainly make a case for him in here. And the final horse is Knicks Go, the heavy favorite right now on the morning line, and he's probably going to go off a very heavy favorite. I'm going to try to beat Knicks Go because I don't think Knicks Go is as good as a lot of people think he is. Now, that's very preposterous to say about a Breeders' Cup winner and a horse who won the Pegasus World Cup, but the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile was not that good of a race, and the Pegasus World Cup was even worse than the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I mean, you go back and you look at the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, not really a ton of great horses coming out of that. The form of that is not that good, and the form of the Pegasus World Cup is even worse than the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I don't know the exact statistics because I didn't go through and put those stats together, but you look at some runs from horses underneath in that. Last Judgment is one of the few horses that has exceeded as of late, and that's about it. You see really, really poor runs from Sleepy Eyes Todd and Independence Hall, horses like that, and then you have at the bottom of it, Mr. Freeze, Math Wizard, Harper's First Ride, Kiss Today, Goodbye, Coastal Defense, not in order of finish, but those horses toward the bottom of that are very, very inconsistent, and that would be very kindly put for some of them, specifically Math Wizard. Math Wizard is not a Grade 1 horse, so Knicks Go has beaten 2 light Grade 1 fields, and the other thing about him is his best races have come at Keeneland. His Grade 1 win as a 2-year-old came at Keeneland. His allowance win before the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile was at Keeneland. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile was obviously at Keeneland. So he only has 1 Grade 1 win at a track that is not Keeneland, and that was against a very, very weak field. I thought he got exposed in the Saudi Cup. Even though he did get pushed on the front end by Charlatan and probably did go a little bit too fast, I don't think Knicks Go is that good of a horse. I never really bought too much into him, and I'm going to pass on him in here because I think he's going to get too much play. I don't think he's worth 6 to 5, and I can get value with some of the other horses in here. So now we'll get to my picks for this. Obviously, I said I'm not going with Knicks Go. I'm going to go with Mischievous Alex. I'm going to take the hot hand in here. For second, I'm going to stick by my standards in there. Hope some of the value holds on him. And for third, Silver State, because Silver State is a very consistent horse. So that's my top 3 in here. Thank you for stopping by for this. We will have a few more previews coming out this week, previews of the Just a Game and the Manhattan 9. I will also have a preview of the Grade 1 Ogden Phipps. So Eric will have the two grass previews, and I'll have the Ogden Phipps preview. Our Belmont Stakes preview is already out on YouTube, so be sure to check that out. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Back of the pack comes Guest Suite, Final Furlong, Silver Prospector, Warriors Charge, Express Train between horses. Silver State is in with a chance. Fearless is at the rail, and Owendale make it 6 across the racetrack. Silver State emerges. He's got the lead. Owendale, Fearless up the rail. Silver State, Fearless, Silver State.